Hey guys, this is the Boss Coder, and I'm here to tell you about a little, or not so little, proposition that I have for all of you, and you guys may or may not like it, but I'm going to put it out there because I'm pretty interested in doing this. Um, so let me show you. Okay, what's going on? What is this proposition about? I'm I am going to finish my C# tutorials for sure. I don't want to let anyone down by just stopping in the middle and starting a new series. Um, uh, it is going to be more of an intro series, so if any of you guys follow the new Boston, I know recently that he just put within a span of about 3 or 4 days he uploaded 200 C# videos. For one, I can't put that many videos out there because I don't even know enough about C Sharp or just programming languages in general. I mean, I'm pretty good with Java, but I wouldn't even be able to have enough knowledge to spend 200 videos worth of time on Java. So I'm only going to teach myself C Sharp up to what I know in Java, which I'm definitely not nearly as close in my C Sharp videos as what I know in Java. I know a lot more in Java than I have taught in C Sharp. So I'm going to attempt to get closer to that. I'm at least going to finish arrays and do an intro to OOP, like I already did, but do go more into OOP. Um, and I'm going to take the time to teach that for sure, but I want it to be more of a basic introduction series on C Sharp than I want it to be like a hardcore, like college, high school level course on C Sharp. Like I don't want it to be like the equivalent of what the AP Computer Science exam class, AP Computer Science class would be, but for C Sharp rather than Java. I don't want it to be that in depth just because I don't know it, and if I teach myself something in C Sharp wrong, it's a disservice to everybody else that I'm teaching it by teaching you that. Not to say that I haven't taught anything wrong, because I'm pretty sure I haven't. It's worked so far. My compiler hasn't caused me any errors to an extent yet so far. But if if there's something like, I can't even think of any examples of it, but if there's something that where there's more than one way to do it in C Sharp, which in most languages there is more than one way to do just about everything. But if it's not the best way, considered the best way to do it in C Sharp, I don't want to teach you to do it the wrong way. And what I'm teaching you so far, like variables, I mean, of course, there's multiple ways to define variables, but there's not one way to define a variable that's going to be more correct than the other way. So far, I'm good on that. I just don't want to get too far into it and then cause problems for anyone who's actually trying to learn it from me. So I want that to be more of an introductory, like early intermediate probably, but I'm not going to go into any advanced topics like file reading or file creating, or I can't even remember the name of it for the life of me. I'd have to go look at my notes and stuff. Um, Either during or after finishing my C Sharp tutorial series, I want to make another series. I'm going to leave it up to you guys whether it's another language or it's a different uh, subject. Like I could do Lua, Ruby, Visual Basic, Pascal, whatever meaning, etc. I could do just about any language that you want me to, and I would be more than happy to do it even if I don't know it. Or I can do just another subject entirely, math, science, or more details on the other next several slides. Um, so I could either just, when I've finished my C Sharp tutorials, I can do another language, or during my C Sharp tutorials, I can start on another language and start pumping out Hello World and making variables, writing functions, whatever. Um, and then once my C Sharp tutorial is done, I would definitely want to go ahead and start another one along with that second one I've already started, just so I'm not wasting my time with, or not wasting my time necessarily, but just so I can make the most out of my extra time that I get after finishing C Sharp. If I did end up doing like another subject like math or science, I would need to buy a tablet, like a writing tablet that they use to write, that you see people writing on the screen. They don't use a mouse, they use a tablet with a little stylus. Don't don't say that you wanted me to do another language just because you don't want me to have to buy the tablet, because I was actually going to buy the tablet eventually just for my own personal use, because it's coming to a point where pretty much every single teacher I have puts their notes and stuff online, and I want to be able to just open those notes on my computer and then write on them or do my homework on it and then print it out or just do whatever on the computer because it's easier that way. Um, so, or I could just use it to draw stuff because that sounds like fun and it sounds like a pretty nifty tool to have, and they're not that expensive for the ones that I would need, which is just basically the most basic one. So don't be discouraged from asking me to do a tutorial on math or science or whatever just because um, you don't want me to have to spend money on something that I was going to end up spending money on eventually anyways. So let's go to the next slides. Math. If I did math, I would definitely for sure, like solidly, be able to give you a very, very solid and in-depth foundation of Algebra 1, Algebra 2, pre-calculus or pre-calculus slash trigonometry. I put the slash in there because some schools, districts call it pre-calculus, others call it trigonometry, and it might be different by state rather than school district. I don't really know. Where I'm from, we call it pre-calculus because it's a combination of Algebra 2 and trigonometry. Um, Out of those first three, the one that I'm absolutely the best at, well, obviously I'm good at algebra because you have to have algebra for everything else, basically, but the one that I can teach you like by definition rather than just showing you the way I know how to do it, because I've developed my own little tricks for almost everything other than new stuff that I'm learning, uh, is trigonometry. I love trig, cosine, sine, cosine, tangent, some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid, that kind of stuff. Um, I'm really good at that. The unit circle, I can teach that and get it, help you guys get it down. Um, if I did do a series on math or science or just anything that's not a computer language, I would probably. Sorry, I'm getting snot running out of my nose, and I'm trying to wipe it. So if you hear any like staticky sounding noises, it's probably a tissue. Um, Allergies are really bad. So if I did end up doing like a math or science or something, I would probably put like little worksheets that I made, not worksheets, but like quizzes, because when I was in Algebra 2 at the end of the year and in pre-calculus for quite a long time, um, they gave us unit circle quizzes where they would hand us a piece of paper at the beginning of class, and then whenever they said go, we would have like 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever to write out the unit circle. And if we didn't get 100, we had to do it the next day, and we had to do it every day until we got 100 on it, because the unit circle is that important. Like, seriously, it is. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then that's okay. If you're like a freshman and you're only in Algebra 1 or Geometry or whatever, then just, that's okay. Just don't listen to me. But, like, I can really give you guys a solid foundation of this for sure. And this also, I'd have to go back and look at my notes because I am one of those studious people who keeps all of their little spirals with their notes in them for every year because I think I might have to use them again. And I might have to use them again. Look at that. I put geometry on its own line because I was good at geometry. I did very well in geometry. I've never gotten below about like a 95, which is basically an A plus in a math class. Never, ever, ever, because I love math and it comes to me very easily. And I know that might scare some people, not scare some people, but worry some people about me teaching it, because a lot of people who are good at a subject are really bad at teaching it. But I have been told by several people and several of my teachers that I'm very good at explaining things, and there's a good reason for that I might tell you in a minute. Geometry, I was good at geometry. There's just, and I still know geometry a lot. I can do most geometry problems. It's just the definitions, like, I don't remember exactly all of the theorems and postulates that I learned in geometry other than Pythagorean theorem. but I can use them. I just don't know exactly what they are. So I'd have to refresh my memory on what the names are and what they are by definition. And then I put calculus on this line because, ooh, shoot. I put calculus on the third line because I'm still in calculus. I'm in calculus right now. So that would be definitely a slower series to come out than the other 3 or 4, whatever. Um, and it would be equivalent to the first. As of right now, my schedule, I'm in Calculus AB, which is the first semester of freshman calculus, but I may end up switching into Calculus BC at the semester, which is the first 2 semesters of freshman level calculus. So you'd get a whole year of calculus from me out of that. And calculus and trigonometry would probably be the best ones for me to learn. Trigonometry just because I'm really good at it and it was so easy for me to learn it. I just thought it was fun. And then the calculus because I'm learning it at the same time I'm teaching it. So I can go to school and learn something one day, take a test or do practice problems at school or whatever, and then come home, grab my textbook, open it up, and start doing a little tutorial for you guys. So definitely keep that in mind. Science. Physics is first. I am good at physics. Uh, I like physics. It's very math based. I definitely would have to refresh myself on physics though because there were I took AP Physics last year, B, and I think there were around like 25, 30, 30 something formulas that I had to remember for my physics test. So as I went through each subject with you guys, I would definitely have to go back and reteach myself some of the formulas and just like the concepts and definitions like but I can remember that a Newton is kilograms times meters per second squared. I mean that's something that I still remember, and I still remember all the kinematics formulas and stuff. Those are still really easy for me, and I can pop most of them out of my head. Um, chemistry is I'm in AP chemistry now, like some of you may have read on my website that I'm in AP chemistry and I'm doing fairly well for myself. It's a hard class, definitely a hard class, um, but I would not be teaching AP chemistry, AP level chemistry. I'd be teaching like sophomore level chemistry. If you live in Texas, you take chemistry sophomore year. The reason I'm not particularly interested in that class is not because I'm bad at it, but just because there's so much of it that isn't in my like it's become permanent memory. It's like part of my permanent memory now, and I can still use that information when I'm doing chemistry in my AP chemistry class, but I can't spit out what I'm doing and necessarily explain exactly what it is that I'm doing. And there's a lot of sophomore level chemistry that I don't use in my AP chemistry class right now. And biology, I really don't think I would teach that even if everybody asked for it because there's so many facts from biology that I don't remember. There's just so much of it that I don't remember. I was good in biology. I was good in biology, but there's so many facts to it that I just don't remember. And there's a lot of picture drawing that I would have to do or finding pictures on the internet to do show you diagrams and how photosynthesis works and whatnot. It would be a very big hassle for me, and I would be afraid I would definitely miss something because that was 3 years ago, I guess. So next slide, history and English. I don't want to teach history and English, uh, and there's 4 basic reasons. One, they're not my favorite subject. I don't enjoy teaching them. If you don't enjoy teaching something, chances are that you are going to be bad at teaching it. It's difficult to teach outside of a classroom setting. This is mostly goes for the English, more so for English than history. I'm not terribly good at them. I was good at remembering facts in history, but I took AP World History, and I did pretty good on the exam. I got a 4, but I definitely didn't know a lot of it. Um, I was bad at it in the sense that I was supposed to read the textbook, and I did read the textbook most of the time, but I did not retain the information. I'm very, very bad at reading something and retaining information unless it is interesting to me, and most things I do in English don't interest me at all. The only thing that I actually have a very simple time in paying attention at is grammar. Grammar is the only exception. If you guys want me to do some lessons on grammar, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's the only thing in English that or history that I'm willing to teach, though. The length of, and also the length would be unbearable. History, especially. There's so much history I would have to do. I would, if I did end up doing history, which I really don't want to and probably won't, but if I were to, I would have to be so specific as to what I'm teaching. I, I wouldn't even be able to say, okay, I'm going to teach world history, because there's so much world history that there's no way I could teach it in a decently sized uh, tutorial series. And mostly learning history, honestly, if you can read a book about history, that's about the best way you can get it. Or you can sit through someone's lecture and have them actually talk to you. That's the best way to learn it. I would never attempt to learn history myself by watching a YouTube video, honestly. Um, so I really don't want to teach English or history, except for grammar. If you want me to do a grammar series, that's fine with me. I don't mind grammar at all. What qualifies me? Math. I don't have any like test scores to give you other than my TAKS test, which is the Texas Assessment of Knowledge and Skills. Every year since I believe sixth grade or seventh grade. I know I got perfect score in seventh grade, sixth grade, and I'm pretty sure that seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 10th and 11th grade, I've gotten a perfect score every year on my Texas Assessment of Knowledge and Skills math test. Now, if you live in Texas, you probably realize that that doesn't mean a whole lot because the TAKS test is not really that hard. Uh, Compared to an AP exam, it's a piece of cake. But some people find it hard, so I don't want to say it's easy because for some people it is hard. I realize that it's not. I'm not going to try to put you down by saying that the TAKS test is easy and you be one of those people that failed it. But for me, it was very easy. I got a perfect score on almost all of my math TAKS tests, and if I didn't, I missed one question. So, and it was probably because I was dozing off from being so bored. It's my favorite subject. I tutor people in math if they ever need help. My teachers always tell me I explain stuff well, and it just clicks with me. I can spend one day in class learning something from my math teacher and go home and do the entire homework assignment and get almost all of it perfect because I just need a little bit of explanation usually to learn math. I can read the textbook and learn most of it on my own and figure out what's going on, not just procedurally, but why I'm doing it because textbooks for math explain stuff well generally unless it's a really bad textbook. But it's one of those things that clicks with me. And it's a passion of mine. And the reason I wanted to do a tutorial series on math is because I'm going to college next year, and I'm considering two different uh, directions. I either want to go into some sort of environmental engineering or possibly civil engineering. I really don't want to do civil. I'd rather do environmental, but if that's what I have to do, I'll do it. Um, or I want to get, if I decide that I don't want to do environmental engineering, I'll go and get my bachelor's, master's, and doctorate in mathematics, hopefully, unless I decide to stop at my master's or something and just go work somewhere with math, and teach math at a college level. But I'd like to get some experience teaching math, so I'm actually planning on going into my old pre-cal teacher's class eventually within the next couple weeks, and going in the class and going over homework with the kids in that class, just so I can get a general feel of what it's like to teach math. I know teaching math professionally as a college professor is way different from teaching it in high school, but I think just the thought of just the practice of teaching something in front of people and getting up in front of people and teaching a concept is really going to help me decide whether that's something I may want to pursue or if I really just need to throw that away. But so that's the math. Physics. I got a 5 on the AP Physics B exam. The teacher, my AP Physics teacher, told all of her current AP Physics students to come to me if they needed help. Well, you may be like, oh, well, you got a 5, so they'll come to you, of course. Well, 2 other people got a 5 out of my whole school. I go to a fairly large school. It's a 4A school, which is, it's about 2,000 something kids large. My senior class is almost 500, about 500 kids, and out of those 500 kids, only 30 something took AP Physics, or not even 30 something. It was probably 30 exactly, 30 or 40, I guess. And out of those 30 or 40 kids, 3 of them got a 5, one of which was me. And my teacher told them specifically to come to me for help and not the other 2, because according to her, quote unquote, I'm just so good at explaining things, is what she said. She just said I'm really good at explaining things, and so that's why she told them to come to me. So I'm and I can do physics. I mean, it's anything that requires math I can do, basically. Which is, physics is basically just a combination, is just practical application of math. Chemistry, I'm currently enrolled in AP Chemistry, but I give warning, I'm not teaching AP Chemistry, like I said, and I give warning in the sense that I don't remember everything from AP Chemistry, and it, like I said before, it's in my permanent memory, so it's in my permanent memory, so I can't remember, like, by definition, what the chemistry is like. Think if I can give an example, like when I do double replacement reactions in chemistry now. I know how to do them, but for the first 2 weeks, I forgot that it was even called a double replacement reaction. I just knew what to do, I knew how to solve it, I knew how to balance it, and I just didn't even remember what it was called, or I have the process of balancing the equations memorized. I didn't remember exactly that I was supposed to go metals first, then oxygens, hydrogens, and whatever else it is. I don't even remember the order now. I just balance it the best way I can. So, uh, take this information, watch it several times, think about it. If there are people watching these that are like in physics and they're struggling, then go ahead and ask me for physics, because I can help, or math, any kind of math I can help with. But definitely take chemistry, and the grammar I can teach that fine. But take geometry, calculus, chemistry, with the, I hope I use this saying right, with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. I hope I use that right. But sorry this video is so long. I had a lot to say. But anyways, if you guys decide that you don't want me to teach any subject other than computer science, I'm perfectly fine with that. I may end up just doing one of these on the side, as well as my computer programming language tutorials, just because I really want to. But if you decide that you'd rather me have the programming language, comment here, or send me a message in my inbox saying, hey, I'd rather you do, or just say, like, if you want me to do Visual Basic, for example, rather than doing math, just send me a message saying Visual Basic. You don't have to say anything else. Or if you want me to do calculus, send me a message saying calculus. There you go. You're done. That's the way I'm probably going to take poll. I'm going to save all those messages, and then whenever I decide that it's time for me to start something new, or my C# tutorial is coming to a close, I will count all those up, figure out what I'm going to do, and just know that just because the majority of the people say that they want me to do one subject does not necessarily mean that I will do that subject right away, but it's definitely going to be an influence on my decision. So just think about it, decide what you want to do. If you know for sure, just go ahead and send it to me. You don't have, there's no time span between when you can send me a message or comment or whatever. I'd really rather you send me a message through Facebook, or I'm not sure if there's a way for you to do it through my website, but you can definitely shoot me an email at thebosscoder@gmail.com, I think is what it is. No caps, just thebosscoder@gmail.com. I think that's what it is. I'll have to check. But anyways, sorry this video is so long. See you guys later.